Hey, everybody, Carm Capriato, always honored each and every single month here to do this camp live, campfire discussion with some of the aftermarket's best coaches from the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals. It's called CAMP at automotiveprofessionals.org. I'm with Dave Shadeen, coach mentor, CompuTrek Automotive Solutions at CompuTrekSystems.com. Hey, Dave.
Hey, it's great to be here in this campfire, so to speak. Be great on a 3-degree day.
Well, you're in Idaho, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And we have had my daughter Tracy's, where she lives, 6 feet of snow since
Oh, wow.
Tuesday. We're recording this on a Thursday. Interesting. Jennifer Filson is with us, California girl from Rockstar
Mhm.
Marketing, rock-star-mktg.com. Hi, Jen.
Hello. It's great to see everyone.
Good to have you here, Cecil Bullard, the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence, on the web at wearetheinstitute.com. Hi, Cecil.
Howdy.
Always a great contributor. Ladies, gentlemen, we are going to. The coaches always send me these like bushels of talking points because they are so excited to continue to work with all of their clients and to help them through the year. But one of the things we should really talk about, and since Jennifer hasn't been with us in a long time, we'll start with Jen, how to build a great marketing calendar since we're in the beginning of 2024. Now, we should always have a perpetual going forward marketing calendar, but if you don't have one, Jen, how do we get started?
It's as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, really. And what's cool about it is that you can define all of the different things that you're doing in your marketing. For example, are you updating your website? Are you giving away things to the clients? Are you sending out promotional emails? Are you sending out handwritten thank you notes? Are you doing text message marketing, Google ads, social media marketing? There's so many different categories of marketing, right? So what I do is I create a spreadsheet for each client and go by each month. So down the one column, it will be all the different types of marketing that you're doing. And then across would be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And then what is the theme for each quarter and what is the theme for each month? And if you can parse that out and then figure out who is responsible for each piece, you've got yourself a really great marketing plan that you can stick to. Because when you plan it out like that and then you share that Excel document with your team, then it will make sure that no one just sees it once and then forgets it.
Guys, I tell you what this reminds me of. Everything that we've ever intended and wanted to do in our mind, it's like taking the mind share and getting it,
Hmm.
the mind or the wish on paper. And we don't do, some of us just don't do enough of that.
I think you find that unfortunately there are a lot of things you're doing that you don't know you're doing. Things that Jennifer mentioned, we're updating our website or we're sending out come on, my Cecil and brain damage. Doing a blog or something like that, sending these messages, thank you notes to our clients, etc. I would add to that calendar. First of all, what's my marketing budget? And second of all, what am I spending in each area, either in time and or dollars, because there's a cost in both places, right? And then what am I getting from it, or what do I perceive I'm getting from it? You can't measure everything, but the things I can measure, I want to have some kind of a standard that says, okay, if I'm going to spend money here, this is the return on investment that I want. Now, in my coaching and my experience, we try to tell our clients that they need to spend somewhere between about 5% of their sales on marketing, all the way up to somewhere around 9. We occasionally have clients that will spend 10 or 12% for a short period of time trying something, but that's not necessarily a long-term thing. And I think another thing that you want to add is, you always want to have a couple of things up your sleeve, because if you are looking at measuring things, something that used to work and work really well might just not work for a while. And so what am I going to do? Currently, in a lot of our conversations right now with clients, they're saying, wait a minute, we've slowed down a bit. January wasn't as busy, or maybe December wasn't as busy. And so, oh my gosh, what do we do? Well, you can't wait to the oh my gosh. You got to have
Right.
some things up your sleeve
Right.
that you know you're going to do. And if you're measuring and you're seeing something fall, I mean, heck, how many changes did Google have last year? 400 or so. Um, and things change. And so if you have something up your sleeve, then you're like, oh, I can do this. This will increase my car count. Plus, you start to look at patterns. For us, often in February or in August, our clients are like, oh, it's not as busy. And you're like, yeah, and they're complaining. But I'm like, okay, compared to last February, how is it? Oh, we're up 23% from last February, wasn't so good either. And so you want to look at the pattern. You want to say, well, maybe February is not the greatest month. What am I going to do in January? I don't want to wait till middle of February to go, oh my God, I don't have any cars. What do I do?
I think the context of both what Jennifer and Cecil pointed out is that when you have a plan, you have a budget, you have criteria you're looking for, especially ROI, and know when something works and when it doesn't work. The context of that is an intentionality. Am I going to be focused on that, and how critical is it? And what kind of context am I going to put on my awareness? Am I going to put on a reactionary context, which means, dang, we're sucking air, we need car count now, versus, you know, okay, historically, these months have been slow. And what am I doing 90 to 120 days ahead of that? What is my plan now? And so intentionality is huge when it's at its highest level. And there's a phrase as in the intentions clear, the mechanism will appear. Well, what marketing works? You put your intention out there at a highest level, you'd be surprised what you're open to. One of that was a shift and change in me at Dave's Auto Repair. Here it is. I'm thinking I'm coming up on another fall time. It's late August, early September. Dang, you know what? December is always the worst month ever. It's always a bad month, always a bad month. I've said that, and I'm in like year 7 of Dave's Auto Repair, and it's in the dealership realm when I was a fixed operations manager as well. December is always, and I had this framework, and I said, you know what? If you want something different, you got to do something different. You want to do something different, you got to think different. You want to think different, you got to believe different. I'm going to believe that this December is going to be the best December ever. And I shifted and I changed intentionality in September, and I started marketing ahead of time. Now, I didn't have the intense marketing that's out there available. Now we were still carving things in tablets and stones, and trying to take them to a wheelbarrow and deliver them to the house. That's how old marketing was back when I was doing it. And so it turned out with a 90-day focus of getting December teed up at its highest level. And I did a whole gamut of different things, built a spreadsheet, built a plan for it. Turned out not only was it the best December ever, it was the best month ever in my business history. And what shifted was me. Was it a challenge that month to still close when people are, the proverbial thinking is, well, they got to spend all the money on Christmas presents and charge up all their cards and and January's the same way. Well, I wiped that all off, and I went after the real reason marketing works. Believe it or not, while I put a lot of that stuff out there, my frontline marketing is what made the difference. That's the advisors, the postcards, the CRM, all of that. It's the frontline marketers at the highest intention level that will drive the proverbial existing, sustainable, long-lasting car count.
Yeah.
So with information and intentionality comes faster and better decisions.
Yes.
And I think one of the important things, when we talk to clients, funny, because we'll be going, okay, what's your close rate? So the phone's ringing, but all of a sudden I used to close 50% of them into appointments, but now I'm closing 30% because I think nobody has any money, because I think December is a horrible month, because traditionally it's been a horrible month. Well, if you can flip the switch, right? and you appear differently, then you're going to get better result. Smile on your face, energy in your voice, excited to be here. It's a great December. Wow, thanks for calling. We really want you in. Um, then you're going to have better result. It is what it is. When I was running the shops, the hardest part was keeping everybody's energy up, I think, frankly, because you have a bad day and all of a sudden, oh my God, the world's ending. We had a bad day. We did,
Yeah.
we got this car in that's going to kick our butt. It's kicking our butt. Oh my God, we can't fix cars anymore. It seems like a lot of us go to this place of, oh, it's the end of the world. Been in business 25 years, had some ups and downs, but this particular down is the one that's going to take you down. No, I'm going to smile. I'll get through it. It's going to be a great December, and be inviting. I'm the guy that
Hmm.
says not everybody's your client, but I also teach that you got to give everybody the opportunity to be your
Right.
client. You got to
Yeah,
act
yeah.
like that's the person you want. That's the most important person in the world. And if your front staff can do that, it can change your results dramatically.
I gotta jump in. I have Here's my takeaway, huge takeaway from the last 5 minutes. We don't do December. Think about that mentally, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Are we going to accept the fact that December is always, or are we going to just say, with kind of a cocky attitude, we don't do December?
It's funny that rings true. In fact, I'm going to rephrase a phrase when somebody, in fact, my staff at the dealership and in my shop, oh, it's Monday. It's Monday. So you always have a bad attitude on Monday. Do you realize 1/7 of your life you're going to live with a bad attitude? Well, now I just focus it. Wait a second. 1/12 of my business career sucked because I had a bad attitude on, actually more than that, because it was always December. That trickles into January. We still got cold weather. It's still into February. Next thing you know, I got a third of my year, a third of my business life will always be down because of who? Not marketplace, not nothing. Nothing. When I was coached on how to get your hours per repair order up, your true hours per repair order up, went from 1.67 to 3.33, down economy. January 15th, right after Christmas, nobody had any money, my mind frame. Ice storm in the Northwest. We had everything counted against us. In 4.5 days, I went from 1.67 hours repaired, 3.33, and never looked back.
Yeah.
It didn't matter economy, the rest of it. Now my challenge was car count. Now my challenge was I just experienced great success. And guess what I did? I ignored the context and said none of those excuses mattered until the next year when old programming came up and I allowed it, personal responsible choice, to affect me again. And while we had a better January than the previous year, we had our breakthrough in, I still was going, this is terrible. This is a lousy month. And anyway, be
It's
careful what we declare over us in our heart and what comes out of our mouth as well.
Well, this is why the marketing calendar is so helpful, right?
Yes.
So I get into a fancy spreadsheet because we have a lot of moving parts for our clients. But it can be something as simple as just grabbing the calendar and writing on it. What's the theme going to be for January? And the important thing too, to overcome the desire to be sad or be defeated, is to make sure that everyone is in lockstep, understanding, okay, this month for January, we're doing this. What kind of irresistible offer? See, when you make plans for the entire year, you know what months are going to be slower for you, right? So if you can figure out, all right, would this be an ideal month for us to get more people excited about coming in for free wiper blades? Or could this be a month where we have a customer appreciation barbecue? I mean, you would be surprised at some of the community building extracurricular things that will bring people
Mhm.
in the door, even though it's a slow month. So, truly, having a calendar, whether it be this type of calendar or an Excel spreadsheet or whatever your thing is, that way you can track your ROI, you can track everything, but really having that all planned out is going to allow you to even out the highs and the lows, right? And leaning into the marketing is so important if you do indeed want to get through, especially the lower points of the year. It's a long tail approach. You can't get around it. You can't expect your marketing to just instantly bring you people through the door. You've got to be focused on it all year long.
And I would say that you really need to understand the ebb and flow of your business and the things that will create better performance, more consistent performance. And if you understand that, we traditionally, when I took over the last company I ran, Shopwise, November was a terrible month for them. Don't know why, but so we did a customer a party. We had a BNI group, large following, the chamber. We invited them in. We had 300 people come into our shop in October. Great excuse to clean it up. We
Right.
had wine and cheese and hors d'oeuvres, and uh, November was the best month we had after that,
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
you really have control, and I think that's kind of one of the other things. I think you can give up your control and you can say, I
Hmm.
can't. It's well, school's starting, or it's Christmas
Right.
time, or it's getting hot, or it's getting cold. You can say that and use that as the reason why your business is slow or slower, or you can say, I can change that. I can make that better. I'm not going to do December. I'm not going to do February. We're going to do something cool for our clients and get them used to knowing that every February we do something really cool. And so February is going to go from being one of our worst months to one of our best months. We have to realize our personal choices, the way we act, the way our brain is set, is is going to make a huge difference. And I would say back to what Dave said earlier, and that's your frontline people.
Right.
As the owner of the company, or if I'm either managing, either way, it's up to me to keep my people up, and I can't keep my people up if I'm down.
Exactly.
Right? If the
Exactly.
if the if the world is ending, I walk in with a different look on my face. Everybody knows it. My body language sucks. I'm more volatile, etc. But if this is just it's a today's a bad day. I
Yeah.
have these weird philosophies, and one of my philosophies is if today really sucks, tomorrow's going to be great. Right? I tell myself that in the
Mm.
worst day I'm having, I say, "Oh, this means tomorrow's going to be great." And then the opposite of that, though, however, might get you in trouble because if today's really
Yeah.
great, tomorrow might suck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. An optimist would walk in and at the world is ending, Cecil, and the optimist would say, "Let's go out on top."
Yeah, let's
Let's
Yeah.
let's have a
let's
party. If
go
it's
out on
going
top.
to end, we
Yeah,
might as well
yeah,
have
let's
some
That's
go.
right.
fun, right?
Hey, we got it. We got a comment or a question from a Facebook observer. Thank you for being on with us. If you've got anything else, please get it to the coaches. 9% of $3 million. Whoa, lots of money. $270,000 per year on marketing seems high, but I'll bet you we could come up with 35 different things we could spend marketing on, especially what's the goal? Is it 3.2, 3.3? What's the goal?
If you're
Well,
do
um,
Go ahead, Dave.
so historically, marketing has been this benchmark, and Cecil, you've just acquired the bottom line impact groups. Bob O'Connor was big on, and we learned. Bob and I came through dealership training, and so in the 3% is your minimum you need to spend for marketing to maintain, 6% or more to grow, and then in seasonality, like let's say you added all of a sudden you added a diesel aspect or an RV aspect, you're going to want to peak to 9 to 12 for a season to go get that particular one. But on average, you're going to hover around the 3 to 6% range. Even if you were at 9%, those are the events for super growth exponentially. But some of your marketing dollars reward your marketeers, and if you've got three up front, let's just be funny, it's you got three marketeers on the front counter. Some of your marketing dollars may be in the form of a spiff, in the form of GP dollars, in the form of the promotional, and you look at your calendar. Part of having your calendar is know what your budget is, and okay, part of my budget, my frontline marketers are going to do more than a postcard ever will. So why don't I reward them and in form of marketing dollars is now part of salary dollars. One of the things that I love these kind of shows, but at the end of it, we're talking theories, theology. What's the practical takeaway? So if we have a whole 2-3 page list of slow days, what do you do? And that's accumulation over of 18 years of coaching now and 9 years of in service advising and management before. So with that, one of the things that I do, tried and true and proven, and here's a freebie for everybody, is that if you're not booked 5 to 7 days out, you're slow. Intentionality is up high. Pure and simple. Your slow day is not tomorrow we're out of cars. Your slow day is the day 7, we're not booked solid, we're slow. Part of the way you can drive that in, it depends on the timing of the month, is what we call a counter coupon, that we gave the freedom and liberty for advisors to do this. Hey, Mr. Jones, I get the Suburban, it interrupted your financial cash flow and took $2,500 out of your bank account for the brake work it needs. But the other $1,800 worth of work that needs to be done relevant on the vehicle, this is deferred work month. If you book that in the same month, you get 10% off of labor up to $100, and I can book that for the last Tuesday of the month. And now you're taking a real world thing, incentivizing the customer to come back, because to get a new customer in the door, does it cost more than $100? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's a guess at that. It's a gamble. This is more of a assured thing. Then the other thing is that as I'm prepping a repair order and I pull up Mr. Jones, I'm going to prep the Suburban. But what I also see is I see the Subaru and the Pontiac in the fleet. When I'm prepping that one, I'm going to go look at the other ones. And now I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Jones, in preparation for this Suburban coming in and taking care of that, giving you peace of mind that everything's going to be caught up to speed on it. I noticed that the Subaru is also due for that 90,000 mile service. If it's convenient for you, you could, pick the Suburban up, drop that off. And this is second vehicle month. You get $100 off of labor or 10% off of labor up to 100%. So you have two in the moment dancing, tried and true, proven things to drive car count, incentivizing your customer, and you're really not giving the farm away. And if you price it correctly and you already have figured in part of your labor rate and your parts profit, you've already figured your marketing dollars in there to give away. And if you don't give it away, you got super GP. If you give it away, you got great GP.
So some of your dollars are customer acquisition, and traditionally
Yes.
that's direct mail or radio or your website, other things that you're doing, SEO, SEM, Google Ads. But you also have customer retention. So having a really good customer retention program, bringing those customers back, scheduling the next appointment. Holy crud. How many shops don't schedule the next appointment? If I'm your guy, if I'm your service guy and I know your car, don't I schedule your next appointment for you? I mean, and I have so many shops. We talk about this all the time. We at my shop, we scheduled the next appointment. I had 6 appointments on the calendar, 6 to 7 appointments on the calendar for 6 months because of a 6-month service schedule. And we had 82% of those people show up for their appointment. Yeah. And the ones that didn't show up, we rescheduled within 2 or 3 weeks, and they came anyway. But I got to address something, 2 things really. But it's this idea that, oh my God, I'm going to spend $200,000. Who cares? If it's bringing me $2 million in business and I got my margins built in and right. I'm going to net 20%, who cares how much you spend? Carm, I got $100 bills here. You hand me a $10 bill and I'll give you a $100 bill, right? Unlimited, Carm, unlimited. So as many $10 bills as you can give me, I'm going to hand you $100 bills. We think wrong in this industry. Right. We look at cost and we go, oh my God, I've got to control cost. Well, yeah, you should control cost. But when you have something that can give you an 8-to-1 return on investment or a 15-to-1 return on investment, and then you say, well, God, I'm going to spend $200,000. So what? If it's bringing me, if it's bringing me $2 million in work, $3 million in work, good work from clients that want to buy, they're not going to fight you too much, etc. I don't care what I spend. you know.
It's churning.
Yeah, and you should be churning because
Yeah.
I would say you got to chase away the bottom 5% of your customers every year. Those people that won't spend money, want to bring their own parts, all that. You just say bye, but
Right.
not if you don't have a good marketing plan and good marketing things that are bringing good people into your business.
Right. I would like to address a couple of the things that the viewers have been saying. Okay, one of them was saying that 9% is a lot for 3 million. That's 270K. Actually, it's not a lot. I do work with a shop in Florida that is spending about 18,000 a month, and they're very close to getting 2 million. And what's also really important about this particular shop, they are the rare bird that makes sure that they know where exactly every single client is coming from. So
Mhm.
it's part of the job of that service advisor team to ask, how did you hear about us? Was it through the Google ad? Was it through our Facebook? Was it through the YouTube channel? It's so important to get that feedback loop completely closed to figure out where did this person come from so you can accurately track your numbers.
Cecil spoke to something that's really important is the marketing dollars. It is about retention, but it's also new customer acquisition. Part of that is in your budgeting is to have even some shops that put in a referral program. Here's a benchmark, and it's rung true over and over again. The number one KPI to know you have wow factor with your customers is a certain percentage of people walking out of your shop, going out in community, and they're spreading the gospel of your shop because they got such a great value. That comes from your frontline marketeers. That didn't come from a postcard or anything else. It's the great experience that they had. So here's the general rule of thumb. Depending on your attrition rate, and that's different for every shop. You got a shop that's next to a college. Every 2 years, they got new customers coming in the door. That's higher attrition. But a normal shop typically is going to have somewhere around the 25%, which means you got 75% repeat coming in, 25% new. Of that 25% new coming in the door, your wow factor KPI is 70% of those should be coming in from referral. Too many shops are putting too much emphasis, which is why they look at the cost factor, because the ROI of non-word of mouth marketing is so expensive, and it's the biggest gamble. But when you empower your people at the front counter at the highest level to build trust and value with that customer, it's amazing what they'll create. One of the time frames with a customer, the most important time of that customer is not the appointment. That's important. Not the check-in. That's important. Not the follow-up phone call, follow-up sale. That's important. The most important one is active delivery. I'm going to have a last relationship experience with this customer, and I'm going to launch them out in the community for 3, 4, 5, 6 months before they come in the next visit. Did I launch them with the price they paid, or did I launch them with a relationship experience? And as Cecil pointed out, booking the next appointment, bring the relationship into it. I'm setting up my customer's next experience, not their appointment. I set up their next, okay, in my mind frame to make it work for me. I set up the next time they get to hear a dad joke. That's what it was for me. I get to laugh with them. I get to have fun with them. I get to find out about Johnny's soccer, tournament he went to. It's about the relationship side of things. And again, frontline marketeering it's so important to drive that word of mouth marketing. I'll jump here because I want to give a good takeaway. Here is a tried and true proven takeaway that will drive your word of mouth marketing to the highest level. As an advisor, when you call the customer, whether it's digital, text, or whatever, at some point, you've inspected the vehicle, you're giving them an estimate. You will create value for them to authorize it. And we think that they saw the value of it. It's not true. You didn't really sell the value of that repair until after delivery. And here's a single phrase that will drive exponential car count. Hey, Mr. Jones, these are all the things we did for the check engine light in our diagnostic process and best practices. These are all the things we did for the mass airflow sensor and making sure connectors and pins. These are all the things we did in the decarboning of it. These are all the things we did because of the carboned up spark plugs and replacing spark plugs. These are all the things we did to clear the codes and validate the repairs. And then these are all the things we did in the brake inspection. These are all the things. These are all the things. These are all the things. At the end of that experience, every customer I've ever done it with, wow, you guys sure do a lot. Shops are doing that. It's just not coming out, so it doesn't go in the customer's ear to hear that. So every shop that's listening, listen to your active delivery when you're delivering the car. How many times are you hearing, these are all the things we did. These are all the things we did. These are all the things we did. It's an amazing, simple phrase that will transform your business just from that one phrase.
I think you also add to that, this is why we did this for you, right? This is the benefit
Yeah.
that you can expect.
Yep.
And I want to make another point here, and that is, how often are we putting the kind of time and energy into our frontline delivery people
Yeah.
to keep their spirits up, to make sure that they're happy, to make sure that and it's not, well, maybe it's about money a little, but I don't think it's about money. I think it's about having a great environment, about giving them a little bit of freedom, about giving them some control over their life, creating processes so they're confident in what they do and how they do it. Measuring comebacks, really measuring comebacks so that when they're getting beat up, you're aware of that. So you can say, okay, how do we fix this? How do we, we work together as a team. We got to put time into our frontline people because they're the ones that are going to impress our clients. Okay, they're the ones that are going to make people refer and come back. And I'll give you another one, frankly. Creating a referral program where you're given a free oil change or something, I am so not there. We literally at the end, when I had your keys and you paid your bill, I would tell the customer, hey Dave, I need a promise from you before I let you go. Could you give me a promise? And
Sure.
Dave would say, well, Dave, it's really two things. First of all, if we did a good job for you, do you mind recommending us to family and friends, right? And Dave's saying, yeah, no problem, right? Well, in 3 days, we're going to contact you and we're going to talk to you. And basically, what we're saying is, did it go well? Did you get your questions answered? Is the car running great? And if you can say yes to that, here's a couple of business cards. Please hand those out to family and friends and tell them how great we are. And now, Dave, here's where the real promise comes in. If you can't say yes to that, would you please call me personally and let me know so I can fix whatever went wrong? And think about how powerful that is. The customer's walking away thinking, wow, that's Cecil. He's a nice guy. He really does care. Instead of, oh, I just spent $2,500 and I'm not sure, oh my gosh, right? We can create the environment. We can create the thought process that our customer can walk away with by the things we say and the things we do. I mean, one of the issues I have is, and to me, the employees are more important than the customers. Don't get me wrong. The customers are important, and we've got to deliver a good experience and a fixed car. But that'll never happen if my employees are not in the right place and don't have the right mindset. And man, there's so much garbage out there right now online about how bad it is and how horrible the employees get treated. Holy smokes, are we really that bad of an industry that we can't take care of our employees and make sure that they have what they need to be happy and successful? Makes me nuts. Makes me crazy. Because the happier the employee is, the more energetic they are.
Right.
You create scripts and systems and processes, because once we create habits, then we're confident when we deliver. Confidence sells. You do all these things and you do them right, and the customer walks away going, wow, those people really like working there, and wow, that was really a good experience, and wow, that's a place I'd like to go back to.
You're just making me like have a little memory. We went on a trip to Italy this fall. We were in Rome, and we went to the hotel front desk and said, we're hungry. where would you recommend that we eat? So he sent us to this beautiful little restaurant not far from where we were staying. And when we were, he also made the call to make that reservation for us. So, okay, 8 people are coming over, expect them. So we show up and they're looking for us. They shake our hands. And as soon as we sit down, there is a little glass of Prosecco for each of us at the table as a welcoming gift, right? And then we're so delighted. So we have our Prosecco and then we go ahead and we order our appetizers, and then they send us 2 Capri salads free of charge in addition to what we'd ordered. And then we
You
go
paid
ahead and
for them,
order,
but
well, hold on.
right?
And so
Yeah.
what we did was
Yeah.
we went ahead and ordered, and we were just having a great time. And our waiter was Daniel. Daniel was just so fun, so over the top, and he was just so delightful. He made us laugh. He even made my husband kiss him. It was just all these fun little things. We had such a ball.
On the cheek.
And
Yeah.
yeah, on the cheek. But it was really funny. He'd be like, let me tell you about the menu. It's like Dolce and Gabbana. He had a beard. Dolce and Gabbana. It's just so amazing. And so we're having a blast, right?
Mm.
And then toward the end, he brought us little shots of limoncello again. So what happened is that at the very end, guys, you're going to love this. He goes, I am so glad that the 8 of you joined us today. I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to present you your bill, but I just wanted to remind you, we wanted to warmly welcome you. We gave you the Prosecco. That was on me. We gave you the 2 Capri salads. That was on me. And we gave you the limoncello. That was on me. We hope that you will share with everyone that you know how much of a great time you had here. And so here's what happened. We were so happy to pay that bill, plus tip money, which they don't normally accept, right? In Italy, they don't expect a tip, but boy, did we bring a tip. And we returned there 3 more times, seeking him out, sitting in his station every single time. That was an amazing experience. And that goes exactly to what Cecil and Dave were saying. Empower your service advisors, empower your people to be able to give an irresistible offer, even if it's something little. Thank you so much for enjoying our coffee station. I saw that Keith Brown had put in there that, enjoy the fact that we have this little area for you. We have a place for you to do your work if you need to. Have a cup of coffee on us. Have a snack. Have some waters or whatever it is that you're offering. I know that there are different shops that have different little things. There's one in Colorado Springs. He has different sodas from around the world in his refrigerator as a little
wow.
thing. Yeah. And
Very
other
cool.
shops that have like a little treasure chest for the kids that they can go and select a toy. So there's so many different little things. And they don't cost a lot, right? So when you remind people that, hey, we are going the extra mile to provide you a wonderful, stress-free and fun auto repair experience. How many people are doing that? Most people are scared to go to the auto repair shop, right? But if you make it fun, make it enjoyable, get a little bit of Dolce and Gabbana in there, you're going to be golden.
So I have I don't know, I got a contact from somebody and they're like, how do you keep your employees from eating the snacks? Because I'm always like, have cool stuff for your clients, right? And they're like, well, yeah, but then my employees eat them all. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. If you have to, raise your labor rate $2 an hour and give your employees snacks. Who cares, right? If that makes them happy,
Right?
it's
You know
they're
the
eating the cookies. Well, of course they are. The cookies are great. Get some more cookies. It just it makes me a little crazy that we don't really think about the not just the customer experience. If the employees are having a great experience, then the customer has a great experience. And I'll bet you that if I'm going wherever that was that Jennifer's going, and I happen to run into Jennifer and say, I'm going to be in blah, 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 she's going to say, oh my God, you got to go see this. You got to go
Exactly.
eat here. You can't, don't eat anywhere else. I mean, and I'll go there because of that. And if I get that experience that she's describing, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get my whole family there.
Take my money.
Oh my,
As we greet the customer, one of the marketing frontline marketeers is our initial greeting. And normally it does not set the context for a relationship. It sets the context for the moment. And so a best practice greeting Hey, thanks, Mr. Jones. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to potentially be your repair center for life. That's different than how can I help you? Because I'm going to help you in this moment. But how can I be a repair? Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be the repair center for life for you. It's a
We
different context.
we were working with tire stores, and what we noticed was the salesmen, the service guys, were sitting at their counter, and the customers had to walk all the way across with all the tires and
Yeah.
walk in, and the service advisor, salespeople just sat there. And I was like, okay, we got to change this. And what we changed was get off your butt, go open the door as the customer's coming in, shake their hand and say, "Thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate your business," right? And our sales went through the roof. Just that little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so many times that we waste opportunities with potential clients, because I'm too busy. I can't go out there and look at the guy's car. I don't have time for that. Well, if you're not doing that, you're wasting huge opportunities, and your average repair order will go up, and the customer will buy more, and
Hmm.
it's about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, we need to be more intentional, not just about our marketing, because now I'm going to spend all this money to attract you in. But now when you're in, I want to be really intentional about setting the tone, making sure the place looks good, organized, everything. I don't want to put any doubt in your mind at all when you're going to come into my place, right? And I walk into shops because that's what I do. I'm pretty sure Dave and Jennifer both. They're like, they walk into shops, and sometimes I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you, most of the time I walk in and I go, right, and I shouldn't have that, because one of the things we can control is what the customer sees, feels, and experiences when they come into our business. And we're not intentional about that. Not enough of us are intentional about that.
It's and again, I'm really big on the context because context leads to the tangible. And inside of this is that most shop owners are the E-Myth story. They're a great technician. They have an entrepreneurial seizure, hang a shingle out front. None of us had any marketing training experience at all. And not every shop owner is promoter in nature. They're not entrepreneurial in nature, which means shop owners, hear me on this, advisors, hear me on this, become entrepreneurial because marketing has everything to do with one element: seeing the opportunity and going after it. If we are not going to be opportunistic driven, that we see the opportunity not from a place of greed, but from a place of I have an opportunity to educate a customer to make them a good customer. I have an opportunity to educate internal workflow systems. I have an opportunity to elevate this level here. The opportunity is the focus in our industry. If we just had a 10% shift on the opportunity, we'd fix our technician shortage. Plain and simple, we would just fix it.
I love the comment. I'm like, oh, one of the marketing pieces that we would say is local involvement. Chamber Rotary, BNI,
Right.
go shake hands, kiss babies, smile, etc. And I've got owners that say, well, I'm just not that. I'm not very friendly. And I'm like, oh my God, take some friendly classes, right?
Yeah.
Do you do you
Yeah,
think I'm
exactly.
do you think I'm the most friendly guy? No, I'm not the most friendly guy, but I sure can put the pieces in place when those pieces need to be there. Um, yeah, I think that too many of us don't feel like we have control over those things. What's the worst thing that's gonna? You go to a chamber mix or BNI mixer. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You go up and talk to somebody. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? They got bad breath. They don't say anything. They don't like me. I go talk to somebody else. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Um, I just think we need to be much more conscious and about what we're doing and how we're doing it, about the experience that our customers have, and supporting those things that create that experience, because that's what it is. Uh, I, if I'm teaching and I've got, I don't know, 60 shop owners in the room, I'll often go, Okay, so I'm driving a Ford. Some of you won't work on that, but of all those of you that work on the Ford, if I had a water pump I needed, would you do the job? And 2/3 of the class will raise their hand. Sure, we'd fix your Ford, and then I'll say, well, and where are you going to get the parts? And it's Napa, Worldpac, CarQuest, whatever. And so most of you are going to buy the same part. You're actually going to do the same job. What's the difference?
Mhm.
Right? What's the difference? Why would I come to you? And if it's about price and all about price and nothing else, then you're going to lose. It has to be about the experience that I'm going to have when I come to you. I hate the dentist. Hate him. Hate the dentist. Last time I went to the dentist, well, I've been 3 times recently, but it'd been 20 years. And I found a new dentist, and I went in, and they're like, you need 3 crowns, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. When I got done with the experience, I told my dentist for the first time ever, I said, I actually enjoyed coming in here. Um, and I spent, I don't know what it was, 10 grand or something on dental work, but I had a great experience because the people that were there, because the way the dentist talked to me, because I got information, because they weren't pushy, they were comfortable. They, they're, and I've already recommended, I think 20 or 25 people to this dentist, and and man, if we can do that for our clients, because they don't like spending money at shops.
And just think, Cecil, they have ARO metrics too.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they do.
Yes, they do.
They also
I know.
book the next appointment. I got news for you.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what my takeaways are. I'm going to give each of you a chance to do a summary.
Mhm.
But I recently did an episode about a new job or a language shift in the industry called a reservationist. And
Oh,
again,
right.
let's go back to the think, Cecil, that you had about scheduling that appointment, right? I recently wrote a blog on set a reservation, not an appointment, and I got a lot of feedback on it. So the feedback that I got, I ended up doing an episode on a particular job called a reservationist. But that's a side thing. Look for that coming out. So here's my takeaways on this great episode. The word intentionality, and make sure you are positively doing things for all the right reasons. We don't do December. Remember that? What we do and say sincerely should pay dividends, just like Jen's story about the restaurant in Italy. The right spend, what is it? Is it 5 to 9? Is it 3? Fact of the matter is, it should be there. If you have a coach, that person's going to guide you. And if you're measuring the results, you'll know that the spend is intelligent. New customer acquisition. Ooh, have we really ever looked and figured out where that's coming from so that we could have the right spend in that direction? Having a great attitude. The world's crashing. Let's go out on top. That's having a good attitude. And what a way to rally the troops every day. And the front counter are marketeers. Another really cool and big takeaway. So we'll go around the room. Jennifer fills in Rockstar Marketing.
I'm just so glad that I was able to participate today. These are some really, really great ideas. And I hope that everyone who is listening got inspired and will put together their marketing calendar and share that information with their team so they can all come up with ideas together. The boss doesn't necessarily have to do it all by herself or himself. It can be done as a team. And then that way you have more buy-in and everyone will remember, oh yeah, that's right. It's July. We're going to do this thing. And then when people are scheduling their appointment to come back in July, it's like, do you know that you're going to be coming back when we're doing this thing? So we look forward to seeing you. I hope you join
great.
us. So yeah, make it a party, make every day a party, and it'll
Yes.
be a warm, welcoming environment for your clients to come in.
Yeah, I love to go into Jen's shop. I mean, it's just so much fun. Dave Shadeen, CompuTrek, Automotive Solutions. Dave, final word.
Part of the intentionality works best from a place of humility to know I don't know all that much about marketing. So my encouragement is hire somebody smarter than you in marketing. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there's, with both Jennifer and Cecil, they go after marketing to shops at a high level. I mean, Cecil does a once-a-year marketing summit, and that's the context of the meeting. It's
coming up soon.
It's a very powerful context that's there. Jennifer does more than just pull out an Excel sheet, which goes after marketing at a cellular level. I'll let that one percolate.
Very good dad joke, Dave. Thanks.
But what a lot of people don't know is that Jennifer is really good at identifying your ideal customer. And more importantly, she's really gifted in the ability of what I call VWR, value, words, and reasons, telling your story in such a way that it connects with the customer. And so what you want is you want marketing people, tried and true proven things, events, exposure to things that are actually working. And then lastly, if you're not spending marketing dollars on training your advisors on value, words, and reasons on the counter that take a 1.67 hour per repair order to 3.33, double it in 4.5 to 5 days, you don't have the effective communication. Hours per repair order is the number one indicator. Did you build trust with the customer? Consistent hours per repair order does that. And that's what we do.
Some brilliant stuff happening here today. Final word, Cecil Bullard, the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence, sir.
I got to back up Dave a little bit. ARO also tells you that you brought the right client in your door.
Yes.
You matched yourself up with the right client. So if you have low ARO, you probably haven't matched yourself up with the right client, or you haven't built the right relationship there, trust, etc. I would say I'd like to just end on the intentionality, and for me, it's open your eyes to what's really happening in your business in regards to your employees and their interaction. What it's a play, okay? And the cool thing about a play is I get to control the props and the background and even the vocabulary, even what is said. It's a play. And if you have a really well done play with great backdrops and etc., the customer's going to have a better experience, and the better experience they have, the more they're going to love you and like you and recommend you. So be intentional, but keep your eyes open. I think we close our eyes an awful lot because we go to the same business, we see the same things, and things that are not necessarily the best for you often get overlooked because they've been there for so long. We used to do one thing. We used to bring customers in once a year. I would call 15, 20 clients that I knew well, and I would say, I'd like to feed you lunch, and we'd cater a nice lunch in. We had a room for that in our shop. But after lunch, we would let them walk through the shop for 5 minutes or so, and then we would sit down and say, what did you see? What would you change? Etc. And, not all 15 or 20 came. We ended up with 6 or 7. But 6 or 7 of the people who would tell you the real story will say, wow, I was really surprised that you had that garbage sitting over there. And you think it's just old parts. It's not garbage, but to them it's garbage. It's clutter. You don't want to create doubt at all. And just be intentional with your people too. Create that great experience for them so that they can be up for your clients.
Thanks so much, Cecil. Great stuff. Every month we do this with the Coalition of Automotive Management Professionals. Usually is a different group of coaches each and every month. We'll be back in February. Thank you all so much for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks,
Thank you.